Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome to FitNCalm Sunday Live. So many of you have been joining us live every time, and some of you are joining us new. A very warm welcome to all of you. So if you're watching this live or if you are watching this later also, please leave a comment below from where you are, and also you can leave a hi. We would like to get to know who our viewers are. So I'm Tejasvi, and at Fit and Calm, we strive to bring you yoga on as well as off the mat. So apart from sharing a lot of daily practice videos with you all, these Sunday lives are an opportunity for us to bring you more knowledge on different aspects of holistic living, as well as an opportunity to dive deeper into the ancient knowledge. So today we have a very experienced and a knowledgeable speaker, Mrs. Divya Kannan. Uh, she's here to speak on Garbha Vidya. So she has actually used the course of her life to gain deep insights and specialization into pregnancy related topics. So she's a hypnobirthing childbirth educator, birth doula, a golden period educator, baby wearing educator, access bar practitioner, and many more. She supports families through one of the most empowering yet vulnerable phases of their life, the birth of their child. So, in her previous avatar, she has a 15 plus years experience, a corporate experience in diverse domains like finance and education. So, we are extremely happy and thankful to Mrs. Divya for taking our time to spread this precious knowledge. Over to you, Divya.
Thank you so much, Tejasvi. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here and share with all you wonderful people who have taken time out on a Sunday afternoon and come here to listen to me. So thank you all for being here today, and thank you for that lovely intro. So as all of you must be curious to know, what is this golden period? I'm not sure if any of you have heard about it before, or it is the first time you're coming across this term called golden period educator. I'll just share my slides and take you through a little intro about. We'll be just looking at the tip of the iceberg of what is this entire topic all about today. And welcome to connect with me to know more and delve deeper into this. Is the screen clear? Thank you. So welcome everybody once again. Just to share a little bit about my journey, like how Tejasvi mentioned, I've been through different corporate work, and while I was with different organizations, the social enterprises or NGOs, it just happened that through working with children, and I had a very people-facing job. So coming across many people from different walks of life used to energize me in what I do. And then my teachers today, my two children on top here, so they have brought in a lot of new wisdom into my life, and with this, my life has taken a turn towards supporting families through this period in their life. So my gratitude to all my teachers across the country and the world, my mentors and my guides, without whose hand-holding support, I wouldn't be here speaking to you today. So let's dive a little bit deeper to know what is golden period of life. So the golden period of life is actually the first 1,100 days of a human being's life, which is about 3 months before conception, around 40 weeks during pregnancy, and about 2.5 years of infancy. Now, why is it called the golden period? What is so special about this? So this period is when, of course, their brain grows the fastest, but also there is a lot going on, which leaves imprints in the person's life for a very long time. So today, many organizations like UNICEF, WHO, World Bank are talking about the impact that any kind of interventions during this period can have, whether it is on mental health, physical health, on poverty, on economics, economy related issues, on a lot of things. This period has shown that the impact it has is tremendous. So for those of you who are keen to look up the studies, this is the nurturing care framework, which is talking about the early intervention between 0 to 3, and early childhood development again is from 0 to 8. So any interventions done during this period have proven to help people much more than any other form of intervention much later. So just see a small infographic on that. This is from James Heckman, the Nobel laureate in economics. So you can see this graph where any investment done in the prenatal program or program towards the earliest years or preschool program, schooling up to age 8 has much more impact than any amount of job training, professional training, or anything else which you might do to improve society on the whole much later. So in fact, it would be criminal not to have any special interventions during this period and make sure that our mothers and babies are well looked after and cared for, and there's nothing left for them to want for, especially during these times. So it also makes complete economic sense. Any guesses what would be the return on investment? Because for most people, if it doesn't make economic sense, then it's not a.
You can leave it in the comments below for people who are watching. I would just feel it is 100% more.
Okay, it's close. It's $17 per dollar invested.
Wow.
And 13 to 17 is the return in this period. That's the amount of economic sense it makes, not only per dollar invested, the earning capacity of children who have been through this period, they have studies have shown that they earn up to 3 times more than their peers. Not to mention about the life satisfaction, the quality of life, their mental health, and all of those things. All those are definitely there, but even economic sense it makes through in getting to education and meet help support families during this period.
Wow.
So why is this period so important? What is happening here that makes so much of an impact either economically or in health or in a lot of other areas of life? Yeah. So as we saw, the baby is a sentient baby. We used to think earlier, science used to think that the baby in the womb is just a mass of flesh growing, and now we have realized that through different studies, the pre and perinatal sciences have confirmed that babies in the womb are completely aware and conscious of what is happening around them. It's like the baby is downloading what is going on in the parent's mind through the entire preconception and conception. Parenting doesn't begin at birth once the baby is out. The baby already has access to the parents' minds, and a lot of parenting is going on much before that. So, especially the senses one by one awaken, whether it is taste, touch, sound during pregnancy. And it's supported by the other sciences like psychology, cellular biology, genetics, epigenetics, and the others mentioned here. In fact, India is one of the countries which have signed amongst, I think, 148 countries for the nurturing care framework, which WHO and UNICEF have brought out, which we saw in the last slide. So all of these sciences are talking about the baby's brain development during this period, which is what is causing so much of a change, right? So how many bits of information do you think we can take in per second now? Like each one of us here. You can see the color of my dress, you can see the color of the wall, you can hear me. Any guesses if anyone wants to type in the comments? Number of information we are taking in per second.
If I'm concentrating, it's just one.
Okay. So consciously, yeah, when we are alert, we are focusing on one thing, but our brain is able to process 40 signals per second. Like I said, you're listening to my voice, you're looking at me, you can take in the background, you're smelling something around you, you're hearing the voices around you as well, right? So with the conscious mind, which is the alert state that we are in, adult human brains can process about 40 signals per second. Whereas, in the delta or theta brainwave frequency, which is a hypnotic state that the baby is in during pregnancy and during the golden period, phenomenal amount of signals they can take in. It's 20 to 40 million signals per second. So that's the amount of synapses, connections, neurons which are firing off in their brains, and that's what they're downloading. So baby is like receiving. Imagine you are connected, like the phone is connected to a cell phone tower. It's just downloading reception from wherever you move to, wherever the signal is available. The baby's mind is like that. Whoever is around the baby is downloading, tak 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 tak. And no wonder we are so attracted when we see young babies in this, especially in this age 0 to 2. We can't help but being fascinated by them and going to them. And we can make so much of a difference. Parents, caregivers, extended family, anyone coming in contact with these little superhumans. I wouldn't even say they're little humans, they are superhumans. Imagine they're doing much more data processing than we are able to do at this point in time. So when we come in touch with them, being aware that this is a processing going on and they are able to connect these things makes us more conscious of what are the signals we're giving them. Are we coming from a space of fear? Are we coming from a space of calm? Are we giving them the message that this world is a happy place to live in? Things will be good and calm? Or are we telling them about, what a tragedy it is to be born as a human being? Right? So it's the everything that we come in with in our mind when we come in contact with these super beings. This is by Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's a cellular biologist who talks about epigenetics, and some of you may have read his book, Biology of Belief. So the baby is sentient, coming from latest pre and perinatal sciences today. Okay, so for us, it's not something new, right? In our culture, we are very familiar with babies downloading information in utero and not just at birth and beyond. The very famous example, which I'm sure many of you would have heard about the story, is Abhimanyu. How, while he was in Subhadra's womb, when Arjuna was explaining about the Chakravyuha to her, he learned it while he was in the womb. And then she fell asleep, so the other part of the knowledge he wasn't able to learn. And then he participated in the war and passed away in the battlefield, legendary war hero. And Prahlad is another example which we have heard so much about, with both parents coming from the Asura background. He comes up with such different tendencies, such a different harmonious vibration and frequency than what he is surrounded by. So, I mean, that itself says that, it's not just genetics or heredity what you come with. The environment and the support makes so much of a difference. When his mother was expecting him, she was in Narada Rishi's ashram. So her pregnancy was surrounded by different vibrations than he would have had in the Asura kingdom. So he came up to be such a big bhakta, as we all know his story, right? So that's Prahlad. Any other example anybody can think of? If you see something in the chat, please share with me, Tejasvi.
Definitely.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Plenty of examples. There's just one or two. And of course, with this special time, I'm so glad to be able to share about Sri Ram and his brothers. Ram Navami time, we are having a chance to talk about them. So King had Rashtrata did the Putra Kameshti Yagna and took the sankalpa of invoking this powerful energy beings, and then they were blessed with not one but 4 divine children. So it's like, what is the sankalpa intention you put out, which manifests as the divine person coming into your life.
Bharati says in the comments that it's Prahlad learned the Narayana Nama.
That's right. Yes. From Narada Rishi while he was in the womb.
Even Shakuntala's son, it is in the same way, right?
Yes.
Shakuntala's son, though he's grown up in the forest, he becomes a king later on.
Yeah. Yeah. So for us, it's something which we're very familiar with. It's like part of our DNA. We've been hearing these stories from childhood, and it's very easy for us to accept that the child is a super conscious being who is learning so much. When it comes to really applying and being aware of it is where, just having certain tips and practical ideas on how can we really implement it would really be helpful. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So that was what we saw from our culture. So how does this happen actually? Right? Um, we can help the baby during this golden period because it's not only the physical body which we are. So, of course, taking care of nutrition, exercise, what's happening around physically, but we are much more than the physical body itself. So, our thoughts, emotions, we are also eating emotions with the environment. What kind of field are we living in? What are the inputs that the pregnant mother is getting? What are her feelings? If the autonomic nervous system, which is the ANS, is in the parasympathetic mode, then there is a lot of fear coming in, right? So the always the response is either fight or flight, which normally happens. A tendency from when you wake up in the morning, oh my God, dabba banana hai, jana hai. We are always in that rush mode. So that increases the stress hormones, and of course the whole fear around birthing around us has increased to take it to another level where the natural rhythm of the hormones in the body are not functioning as optimally as they would otherwise. So just being aware that we are not only the physical body, but we are also the different other parts of us, and then making sure we nurture every aspect of us. Pregnancy, birth, and parenting is not only just a physical process. We have mental, emotional, spiritual parts and aspects to it as well. In fact, the attachment and bonding, which is traditionally very thought to be the mother's domain because the baby lives in the mother, is actually the baby is very connected with the source. The father has an equally, if not as important or more important role to play as the mother. This is the Kuad effect, if you look up. So the baby is energetically and epigenetically connected with both the parents. So during this golden period, it's a straightaway download happening for the baby. Yeah. So, what do we have as guidelines in our culture to support during this golden period? Most of us may have had some of these, if not most of these, done for us while we were babies and growing up. The Shodasha Samskaras are basically milestones in human development, right from preconception to death, which are, the holistic guidance which is given by our rishis to enhance our potential, right? And no any prizes, so no prizes for guessing how many come during this golden period. There are
I think
totally 16. Guess how many in the golden period?
golden period, I think. So two before pregnancy or three before the baby is born. Then after the baby is born, I think I'm not sure after the baby is born how many exactly comes there.
Yeah. So in this infancy period, which is the golden period, the first 1,100 days before the baby is 2 or 3, is we have about 3 in pregnancy and 6 in infancy. So there are 9 samskaras out of 16 happening in the golden period. The Garbhadhana, which is done before conception, the Pumsavana in the 3rd month, and the Simantonayanam, which is usually done during the 7th or 8th month. And the 6 Shishu Samskaras, which are Jatakarma, Nishkamana, Namakarna, Annaprashna Karna, Vedna, and Shudakarma. These come during the golden period. So our seers knew the importance that this had. And the beauty of our culture is all these things were kind of imbibed into our daily life practices. So it was not something seen as, okay, you have to do something special or you're doing something different. It was just a fabric of the daily life, which, was so profound. The impact it had was so deep. Another text which we refer to during this golden period education, which comes from our culture, is the Garbha Upanishad. This is given by Rishi Pipalada. He is also given the Prashna Upanishad. It's one of the major Upanishads. And the way so many thousands of years ago, he has given the exact, not only the physical development of the embryo, fetus, baby in the womb, but also the psychological impact of what is happening there. Right? Just giving you a small example, it is just about 16 shlokas, a short Upanishad. The detailed information is like this. And this has been proven by clinical evidence today with the advancement in technology that we have. For every month and every stage of growth. So Kalala, the viscous state is that the day one, when day two, when the ovum and the sperm have just fused together to form the embryo. Then at 7 days, it's Budbuda, which is like a bubble, which is what we see here. That's called as the morula in science today. At 15 days, it becomes a solid mass, which is like the blastocyst, is what we see here. And at 1 month, the baby forms into a hard mass of a cell cluster. So science begins talking about the baby from conception, but the Garbha Upanishad and Rishis talk about the baby being conceived much before the spiritual conception happens, much before the physical conception happens as well. And another very interesting story I'd like to share with everybody here is another beautiful scripture we have. This is called the Garbha Gita. So it comes from a beautiful story. Of course, there are many different parts of Gita called as Garbha Gita. Many of us know how Shiva gave this boon to Tarakasura, who was really, troubling the people around, and he was causing havoc and creating havoc. Because he had got this boon, he obviously asked for immortality like all asuras do. But he was told that, of course, immortality is not available for me to give you, so what else is possible? And then he asked for the boon that only Shiva's son can defeat him or kill him. And Shiva was in tapas praying, which seemed like a very remote possibility of him having a child at that point in time. Then Daksha's daughter Sati, we all know that story, how she married Shiva and her father was not very happy with it. Then there was a yajna in Daksha's place, and Sati felt Shiva was insulted over there, and she immolated herself in the fire. And so again, the world, the way Shiva was devastated with this, he had this Veerabhadra roop coming out, and then Vishnu had to send the Sudarshan Chakra to make Sati's body into pieces, which fell all over and became the Shakti Peeths. We know that story. And everyone is still waiting for Shiva's child to relieve them of the menace that was Tarakasura, which is creating such a havoc. Then Sati is reborn again as Himavat and Menavati's daughter, as Parvati. And this time, she does a lot of tapas and penance to receive Shiva as her husband with her parents' consent. But Shiva is in his austerities, so waiting for Shiva to wake up and come into notice with her was taking a lot of time, and the devas were getting impatient. So they had they called Kamadev to help them. When Shiva woke up from his meditation, was disturbed by Kamadev. Kamadev was turned into ashes, and his wife, upset at the demise of her husband, cursed Parvati not to be able to carry a child in her womb. So this was the background of how the progeny of Shiva was being looked forward to and awaited for in the world, and things were not going according to what was supposed to be everyone's intention then. So then Shiva sits down with Parvati, and they consolidate the energies together, and there is a ball of energy which is created in the form of skanda, which she cannot carry in her womb. So this ball of energy was so deep that of course she couldn't carry in her womb. Agni Devta tried to carry it, he couldn't handle the energy either. Then Dhartima, Bhumi Devi tried to carry this ball of energy, which wasn't possible for her either. And Ganga Mata carried it in her womb, this ball of energy. And 6 lotuses, 6 babies which came out of this confluence of energies of Shiva and Shakti. These 6 babies were then taken by the Kartikeya sisters, and we know them as Kartikeya, who came back to Parvati. So when Parvati received this, for her, every other woman, she came to Shiva and she was like, every other woman has this blessing of carrying their own child in their womb, but I can't even get that small pleasure, right? Even that small thing is not in my destiny. So then Shiva sits down with her and he makes a clay doll. She does the pran pratishta for the doll, and he tells her whatever knowledge you want to give your child, not only for your own child who is not in your womb, but as a universal mother for all the children being born in the world, which is the knowledge of knowledge itself. You give it to this doll, and then this will be passed on to your child energetically. So that conversation between Mother Parvati and Kartikeya, who is in the womb of Bhumi Devi, Ganga Mata, and then the Kritika sisters during his golden period infancy, is what has come as the Garbha Gita. So, what is this knowledge that she gave to him as Garbha Gita, which transformed him from, being Skanda, infant, to become the commander in chief of the Devas armies? Right. So he kind of became defeated Tarakasura, gave the world relief from that menace, and went on to become the commander in chief of the Devas armies. So this uh, Gita text is Shruti, so it's come through listening, and has been consolidated into these books called Blessing Before Birth. So this is one of the very divine offerings we have during the golden period to help connect with our baby in a very practical way. So there is this intended invitation which can be used during preconception to invite the kind of child you want to bring into your family. Then there is this journal parenthood where during pregnancy we write or have certain activities which will help the baby coming in. And there is a set of 9 books which are the blessing before birth books, which is nothing but a crystallization of the Garbha Gita, the knowledge that Parvati had given to Skanda. So these are available from the Omni of Future Academy. Sri Shivakumar Bellavadi Shivanitra is the author who has, beautifully brought in the sounds and resonances of this text and brought it available to us so beautifully. I'm just going to give a small example from what are all the activities which we do during the golden period education as part of whatever we saw till now, which is either the Garbha Upanishad or the Garbha Gita. Right? So, for example, we are talking about the 5th month of pregnancy. The month is called the Charma, where the outer layer definition is happening. The blueprint, the foundation is prepared during the 1st trimester, and now the 2nd trimester is when the consolidation of the body is happening. So the rasa is Karuna rasa, and the emotional intelligence is delayed. The graha involved is a Chandra graha, which is white, and so just keep being aware of these different possibilities and using it through activities is different. Of course, now when we are doing practical activities, this aspect of what is involved is either depending on each person, how deep they wish to engage with it. What we see is very simple activities, which are very profound. So at the physical level, can you eat without anxiety and talk with your child? What are you eating about? Explain to them that this is this taste. What is this? What is that? It's very simple activity which helps in bond and building attachment with the baby. At the emotional level, can I say that today I'm not going to think about this not enough? Any thought which comes to me which says, okay, I'm not enough, or this is not enough, or I don't have enough, or whatever. So, doing that as activity at the emotional level. At the intellectual level, can you choose any one book or author which resonates with you, part of your culture, which you can read up or learn about or engage with at an intellectual level? So these are intellectual level activity. Sensorial activity. During this month, we focus on smells, which is minty and citrus. Amongst the different smells available, these are the 2 which we will do. Then the creative intelligence level, we're looking at maybe coloring, and while we're doing coloring, playing some soothing music in the background, and remembering, colors when we're doing this activity, remembering the baby when we're doing these activities. So this is just a small example of engaging with the child, which of course all of us can, many of us during pregnancy, we've heard our elders saying around us, listen to good music, do something creative. most mothers who've never created anything in their lives will, when they're pregnant, will start knitting or doing crochet or making something for their baby. So, engaging in something creative. And of course, spending time with nature as much as you can, be outside, grounding, being in the open air, getting fresh air, or, being slowing down the pace of your life, because the baby is in the subconscious state. And unless we slow down and relax, the communication becomes more, we become more aware of what our baby is trying to communicate to us. And that makes life so much nicer for both. So that was about it. And how does this really make, what are the benefits we have seen, right? So if we've done these kind of conscious pregnancy, conscious birth, helping the mother's hormones be in play. So what is the impact that it has happened on the child and adults growing out of this kind of an aware pregnancy and birth? We see that the baby is being empowered in the womb, and the parents are being very empowered themselves. Parenting becomes more smoother than just managing, this crisis or, that fight, or it becomes much smoother. The milestones as the baby grows up become much smoother to achieve for the baby and for the people around them. It also is known to prevent and mitigate any learning difficulties, disabilities, etc., engaging at this level with the child. Nurtures potential, creates a very strong foundation. The level of the thought process and the depth at which these children can grow up to be is very, very beautiful to observe and be with them. And it also changes the lives of adults and senior citizens. Though this specific aspect of this tool of this golden period, which is the blessing before birth, is also used by anybody. It's not only for a pregnant woman or for a family wanting to invite a child into their life. It's also for children who are growing up knowing about knowledge itself. The first book is called Omniology, which is knowledge of everything. So learning about, we are either learning about a subject like, let's say, learning about science or learning about maths. So here we're learning about knowledge itself and about what is a basic human construct. Who is a human being? Who am I? So this knowledge is again applicable at any level. It helps also heal our own births and our own, period which we grew up with. So aging gracefully and at different stages of life, whenever this knowledge comes in, it creates a profound impact. I have been a direct beneficiary, so I can very happily share that we've seen so many beautiful things coming into our lives once we've been having the blessing and grace to be in touch with this beautiful knowledge. So that was some of the benefits. As I said, it can be used by couples through conception, before conception, children, teenagers, young adults, senior citizens. It's not limited only to those who are right now in the golden period, because we are always surrounded by children who are going through this golden period, and us being aware around them can have a lot of impact, not only on our lives, but on our interaction with these beautiful children as well. So that is a little bit. And across the world, many cultures have their own native ways of, inculcating prenatal education and connecting with the child in utero. So I just brought an example of, in Korea, they have this Tigya. In France, they do haptonomy. So, they are engaging with the baby, unborn baby in the womb with different activities, which are, known to help the baby have a better health, immunity, a lot of benefits which they have seen happening. So like how we have in our culture, there are many other cultures across the world also following these practices. So just thought I'll, bring it up over here. Any questions so far, or we'll have a short meditation to experience a part of what we just heard about? Please start.
We'll take up the questions after the meditation.
After the meditation. Okay. So, just a second, I will stop sharing.
In case you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments and we'll take it up after the meditation.
So we'll see a small part of what it is that we do through the blessing before birth during this golden period. Sit comfortably and relax. Gently close your eyes and have a soft smile on your face. Omniology, Chapter 1, Understanding I. Chapter 1, Unit 01, I am a human being. This means that I am a combination of different energy frequencies acting as a single unit. Ma, are you there? Oh, my blessed child, I am always here for you. Are you comfortable, baby? Yes, Ma. It's nice and cozy. I can feel your warmth, your heartbeats, your voice, and your breath every instant. Ma, I wish to know, will you please enlighten me as my teacher? Sure, my learner baby. I know that you are keen and curious. Please ask me all that you desire to know. I am here to comfort and give you all that I have. Ma, what is the place of a human being in the world? My divine child, we are a part of this beautiful creation called the universe. There are many things here, wide and small galaxies, shining stars, revolving planets and comets, the sun and moon, which light up our earth. Earth is a part of that universe, and this is our home, and we call it the world. There are many living creatures and things that exist in our world. These include small and big plants, domestic and wild animals, birds, fishes, insects. We also have rugged mountains, flowing rivers, and much more in this creation. However, the entire universe is sentient, just the same way as a human being. We are part of and present in this wonderful creation. But the most unique in all creation is a human being. It's so wonderful to hear that, Ma. Could you please tell me more about the uniqueness of human beings? Human beings have more abilities and faculties than all other creatures found in nature. Human beings also live together in societies and communities which are collectively called humanity. What sets us apart, though, is that we human beings living on earth are part of nature. But each one of us is also intrinsically aware that I am a part of this whole creation or the universe itself. Ma, I am now truly curious. How do we get to know that we are human beings? My beautiful child, this is the knowledge we innately possess. Each one of us individually just know this. Nobody teaches this to us, but each one of us know it in our hearts that I am a human being. I am a part of nature and the universe. Indeed, this knowledge is instilled in us from our very birth. Oh, wow. Ma, what are we human beings made of? My child, that is another fascinating aspect. Human beings have a physical body. The body is made up of organs and tissues. These in turn are made up of cells. My darling child, our body is the only physical part of us. Mind, emotions, and feelings are more subtle parts which make a human being. But the most amazing aspect is that each part, small or big, is connected to every other part. And all of them combine to work as one single harmonious unit. That's what makes a complete human being. Now, my baby, rest well. You will grow into a complete human being, and there is a lot more to learn. Ma, I am so happy to hear this. I am grateful to you for being so caring and sharing. Thank you for blessing me with this learning. My child divine, let there be sanctity, grace, and peace for all. Gently open your eyes to the
It was so
because
sorry.
how do you feel, Tejasvi?
Yeah, very, very good listening to. I just didn't want to open the eyes. Yeah. So we'll go ahead with the questions.
Yeah, sure. If there are any questions anybody would like to ask, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah. So Vaishnavi asked, what to do to get a healthy baby after age 30? Many people are saying one should get conceived before 30, or will there be problems?
Okay. So I had both my children after 30. So it is from my experience and also from the learning from wherever I have come in contact with teachers. You can be a mom only when your child is ready to come. So it is a child who chooses the parents. So at whatever age a child chooses you, if your child needs you to evolve to a certain level before he or she is ready to be born, then that is the best time. There's no number to it.
So, would there be any complications when you get a healthy? Will we what to do to get a healthy baby after 30?
Yes. So before you plan to have the child, like at least 3 to 4 months before you plan conception physically, it's a good idea to get yourself physically in good shape with exercise or diet or whatever options work for you, as well as come to a mental, emotional, calm state. So some of the activities which I suggested, doing that even before conception, keeping a journal, doing something creative, like we talk about affirmations or create we, everyone is familiar with vision boards on what do you want to achieve. So here we are not talking about inviting a child who is like having blue eyes or black hair or white skin, things like that. We're calling on a higher soul to come who will learn and grow and also help us learn and evolve. So with that awareness, when we invite, then the child who chooses to come will definitely be a blessing for both the parents and the family.
So, Arjuna, does the guidance span the complete golden period?
Yes, it as I said, there's no one fixed way in which this can be done. Wherever whoever is ready, right? So if you choose to take this, guidance golden period education, pre-conception you can do that. During pregnancy you can do. During infancy you can do. So there are many guided activities which are supported as per the needs of the specific family who comes of age.
And so, when a woman is pregnant, what kind of food she has to eat and what one has to listen or study in pregnancy. I think you briefly covered in the 5th month what she has to do.
Yes.
Question is almost.
Yes. So like that, each month has we are all confluence of energies, and we are talking about an energetic being. So of course we are familiar with, eating healthy, doing exercise, plus a lot of our mantras and, the resonance that they bring in, calming down the mind, those activities, because you'll hear everywhere about the physical aspects of it, and, the food and the exercises part. I'm not stressing on those. Uh, Having a lot of, time to yourself, spending time in nature, spending time by yourself, connecting with this person who is choosing to enter into your family makes a lot of difference as well.
And so, would there be any guided things that we can go through during the pregnancy? Will there be any guided things available online?
Yes, there is a website, Golden Period Education. This is from Omnio Future, where I did my course. And there is another website called Blessing Before Birth, where you can reach out to get these entire set of 9 books, which I showed you about. And depending on which stage you are, either an invitation for the child to come, or the pregnancy journal, or during infancy when the child is 0 to 3, 3 to 5, 7 to 12, or as a teenager or beyond. So these are the websites for these resources which I shared,
Okay.
which is again very detailed. Each one can be, you can keep a picture, and a picture of the child when you received it, and work with these are very subtle energies with in a way which we can connect with in a very simple and powerful way,
So, golden period
at all aspects: physical, emotional, spiritual, everything, creative.
Okay. So it's mostly about guiding the baby. It's mostly about the talks that you listen and guiding the baby inside.
Not only that, so like how I showed you for the 5th month of pregnancy, once a baby is born, you also have the milestones, different activities which you can do with the child to stimulate their interest, and not only the interest, also to make their learning potential increase. So these are called milestone mantra. So which activity, when you do it, how will it help the child, that specific guidance is also provided.
Okay.
If the child is supposed to turn over by 3 months, or crawl, or whatever, how can you um, help the child achieve each of those milestones smoothly?
And Shilpa asks, I had a miscarriage and then a healthy baby, and third time there was an nominee, and she got pregnant and got terminated. So is there any way that it can be there? So, is there any way to solve this? The question is not complete. So, yeah, can I try Garbha
Mhm.
Vidya in my preconception period? Is there any evidence of such thing?
Definitely, as I said, this knowledge is, we are also in the womb of the universe, right? So it not only is for those souls who have come, and each one comes, I mean, I'm so sorry that you lost your baby, but that experience also was probably meant to be for that duration for that child. So how can you help that soul who chose you as their mom for that particular period on time have a smoother journey? It's not just about from date of birth to date of death. That's also beyond, before pregnancy and after death, before the birth time. So there is a lot which you can do for not only your babies who are either present with you right now or not, but also for yourself to help.
Okay. Could you also give us a little bit about what is hypnobirthing? We'll have a proper session later on, but maybe an introduction to it would be great.
Sure. So I also teach hypnobirthing, where again it comes from the premise that a birth is a physiological function. It's probably the only time when a mother is not sick that you go to meet a doctor or to the hospital, right? So how can we prepare ourselves for physiological function from a premise that our bodies are working, and they are not broken, don't need to be fixed. So it's like reclaiming our power back. So many people, including myself, have had very smooth, easy, safe births. it's not about exactly how the birth happened, whether it was vaginal or cesarean. It's not about that. It's about our preparation as a family together. These connecting with the sources. There are many exercises for bonding with the baby, for attachment. We listen to guided meditations together. There are affirmation tracks, breathing exercises. So there's basically a lot of different ways of connecting with our partner and going through this whole pregnancy experience together. Some of the skills we learned, I still use them. My babies are quite grown up now. My daughter is 5. I still use some of the skills I learned in the hypnobirthing classes. I'm still teaching.
Okay, that's great. Tapan Roy is asking, please mention the websites from where Garbha Vidya can be learned. I think you already mentioned, but if you can just mention it again.
Sure, you can go to Golden Period Education. You can find the list of educators over there, and also what is it more about. I just gave you a glimpse into the depth to which it can go. So Golden Period Education is the website, and for the books I shared, the Omniology, Blessing Before Birth, which I just did a small guided meditation from, those books are available at the Blessing Before Birth website.
Could you also share about the things that you offer where it can help people to make the birth easy?
Sure. So basically, I went to multiple people learning multiple things when I was expecting my children, and the sisterhood which comes in from meeting women who I have supported through the process is absolutely priceless. So and I felt it was so good that more people need to be available to do this kind of work. So that's what brought me here. So I teach both golden period education and hypnobirthing during pregnancy. Then during birth and labor, I support as a birth doula. So a doula is a non-medical person who is trained to be able to be there to offer emotional support, physical support. Mom needs a back massage, you need some water. Labor can be different duration. We don't know how long it's going to be when the baby is born. Sometimes even the father needs to support. In fact, most times both need to be supported together, right? So it's a beautiful space that as a doula I hold during the birth of the baby. So I do that. And of course, another one of the first contraptions that human beings invented was a baby carrier, because as humans we like to be held. We're not amongst those species of mammals who either leave their newborns in the nest and then go outside and come back. So baby wearing was one of my lifesavers. So I also teach how to use baby carriers, which is as belly wrapping during pregnancy or at birth.
So yes, ma'am. So if you would like, Shilpa says thank you so much. So if you would like to contact Divya, then you can write a mail to us, or her number also was there in the starting of the presentation. You can pick it up from there as well. Sure, you can share.
I'll just share my screen again.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, please share. And my contact number and email ID is here.
Great. Okay. And so as Divyaji was also mentioning about the importance of the exercise and the importance, the care that you should be taking during pregnancy, we also have the prenatal yoga sessions. So in case you would like to attend our prenatal yoga sessions, you can leave in a comment or you can just write in to fitandcalm@gmail.com. We'll get back to you about the prenatal yoga sessions too. So that's about it. Would you like to add something, Divya?
So first of all, again, please feel free to connect if any questions or any doubts or any clarifications any of you have. I'll be very happy to share in the way I can, whatever way I can. Thank you for listening in, and thank you so much, Tejasvi, for inviting me to Fit and Calm. You're doing some amazing work. I had a chance to go through some of the videos on your YouTube channel. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking out time for spreading this knowledge. Really very grateful. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'll just also share, just before we go, I'll just share the prenatal ones. Yeah, this is about the classes. These are our numbers. So if you wish to, you can just contact us. Thank you so much. So may you stay fit and calm.